In this episode of Finding You, we're going to discuss how to make sense of a rapidly changing world. Well, the truth is that there is no sense to be made of it, in the sense that our minds are unable to grasp the enormity and complexity and the detail of change that is happening. It's difficult to understand how oneself changes in terms of our wisdom, our understanding, our knowledge, our skill, our view of the world, and our ability to put it all together and bring something new forth. We can barely understand ourselves as our lives change, as our minds and bodies change, as our spirit changes, much less understand anybody or anything beyond us. So it really is kind of ludicrous to imagine that we can understand a rapidly changing world. It is beyond our capacity to do so. And when we accept that, we can also say that perhaps it makes more sense to realize that we also have much more forms of backing up. When we accept that, we also can realize that there are many ways to make sense of the world besides what we understand in our mind. We are sense-making machines, and we use all 5 of our senses and plus others to take in the world around us. And yet we are somewhat conditioned to believe that owning what we think and learn and know is the only way to make sense of the world. But we have our other senses: smell, taste, touch, and feel. And some of those senses are not valued as much as our cognitive sense. However, it is also well known that, say, our emotional intelligence is also a very valuable way to make sense of the world, especially when it has to do with dealing with others. Because as humans, we are ultimately driven by our emotions, whether we admit them or not, whether we know it or not, or whether we understand that or not. And when we honor our emotional intelligence, we can make better decisions for ourselves and other people if we're using that emotional information as part of the calculation. And we have many other senses, such as a sixth sense or a kinesthetic sense, or our understanding of the natural world or space around us. So it also makes sense when we are having trouble understanding a rapidly changing world that we use as many of our senses as we can and bring them into the formula. Just like it is also known that groups make better decisions than individuals, you also wouldn't want to necessarily give all your credence to one of your senses, that rather you take in all of the information from all of your senses and you choose the overall perspective that makes the most sense to you on a deep level. The wisdom of our bodies is often underestimated. And what we can sense deep within our body is often a good guide to understanding what matters most to us and how we can best proceed with our inner truth and our deepest wisdom. If you don't know what your other senses are telling you, it's simply a matter of pausing and giving some space and time to listen and feel into what your body is trying to tell you. And the more you practice this and give this time and space, the more you can tap into your other forms of intelligence and make a more well-informed decision based on all that you can take in. This is not to say that you don't do your homework in terms of collecting evidence or data or expert opinions. The more important the decision, the more helpful it might be in certain situations to pause, collect other forms of intelligence, and make a measured decision. It's all we can ever do in the long run is to make our best choice one at a time. It is also helpful to understand that sometimes the best choice might in the short run feel like the wrong choice. For example, if the initial outcome feels bad or horrible, it sometimes leads us to insight or understanding or conversations or actions that actually benefit us in the long run. Think of a time where you made what felt like at the time a mistake, only to find out that it put you on a path towards a better outcome in the long term. So also trust that sometimes there are hard things that you have to go through in order to get to a better outcome. So thank you for listening to this episode of Finding You. Next time, we will discuss what to do with your life once you make sense of it.